does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. Nah, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him back.
In shape, 145.
Yeah.
In shape. You know what I mean? So this is different from a Crawford coming up to 168, but we know his walk around weight is probably 170, 180.
Fight that I couldn't believe, that was too insane and honestly just baffling to think would be a real fight in 2025 reminds you that combat sports are the craziest sports on the planet.
Chaos broke out during the press conference for the Gervonta Davis vs. Jake Paul fight, turning what was supposed to be a simple promotional event into a fiery confrontation. Things got tense when Davis was asked why he chose to fight Paul instead of higher-ranked opponents. The question struck a nerve. Davis snapped back, visibly frustrated. Jake Paul quickly jumped in, mocking Davis over his past controversies and throwing personal insults. The exchange spiraled out of control until moderators stepped in to separate them and calm things down. The face-off left fans buzzing, proving this fight is about much more than just boxing.
And truly, when people run back to this press conference, all the shit talk, all the fun, they're going to be like, wow, this kid really is doing something monumental in the sport, and he's actually an insane boxer. And I'm going to show that this guy who's been doing it his whole life has been doing it wrong his whole life.
What'd you say, Tank?
He said he's going to outbox me. Whoop-de-doo.
The one thing, when you have a fight of this magnitude, especially with Jake, because his appeal has been global, for you, Tank, do you think this is one of those fights where now all of a sudden you can show your boxing skills on a global scale to maybe people who weren't interested in boxing? All of a sudden they say, well, who is this guy?
Yeah, it's actually like, you know, now that I'm looking at it now, it's just like, I don't know.
From the very beginning, the exchange between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis was far from friendly. Standing at 6 feet 1 inch, Jake Paul towered over the 5 feet 5 inches Davis, a visual reminder of the huge size gap that's been the main talking point leading up to the fight. Paul didn't miss the chance to use that difference as trash talk material, bragging that his reach and power would easily keep Davis at a distance. But Davis, the undefeated lightweight champion, wasn't intimidated. He shot back, saying that his speed, accuracy, and ring IQ would make Jake's size advantage completely irrelevant once the bell rings. The size mismatch has been one of the biggest controversies surrounding this fight. Many boxing analysts and fans have criticized it as unfair, even calling it more of a spectacle than a legitimate competition. Since the bout is being labeled as an exhibition rather than a professional title fight, the debate over its credibility has only intensified. For Davis, it's a chance to prove that true skill can overcome size. For Paul, it's about showing he belongs in the ring with real champions. It's no secret that Jake Paul thrives on drama and theatrics, and this press conference was a perfect example of that strategy. From the moment it began, it was clear the event was crafted for viral moments rather than respectful promotion. Paul leaned into his showman persona, bringing out clown props, making personal jabs, and even shoving during the face-off to stir tension. Each outburst added fuel to the spectacle, creating scenes that felt more suited for a reality TV show than a professional boxing event. Reporters on site described the atmosphere as loud, chaotic, and electric, but also lacking real substance. Instead of focusing on strategy, skill, or preparation, the spotlight was on trash talk, showmanship, and viral soundbites. Exactly the kind of circus Jake Paul knows how to create. Keith Thurman pointed out something interesting. The people who criticize Gervonta Davis are actually helping him. The same fans who talk badly about his fights still watch every one of them. Thurman explained that even negative attention keeps Davis popular and in the public eye. So, while they try to bring him down, they're really making him even more famous.
Of the boxing fans and the boxing hierarchy and hardcore boxing people, but at the same time, he'll gain some of that and then lose some of it. It's like a seesaw of his fights. Like one fight, like, okay, that's a real fight, or that's a real fight, and he'll go and he'll win the fight. You know, Julio Cesar Chavez, real fighter, maybe past his prime, whatever, but Jake goes and wins that fight pretty easily and then gets a lot of respect, gets a lot of the boxing hardcore love. And you have these talks about him fighting Anthony Joshua, and that was going to get even more respect. More people were like, that's fucking crazy. What are you doing? Myself included. That seemed like a massive risk, but a lot of people were like, okay, fair play. Anthony Joshua, that's a real heavyweight. Jake wants to fight him. He's a psycho, but fair play. And then you announce this one, and it's like, well, that's the same thing people have been saying about Jake for years, so it's a weird spot to be in for him for sure. But I talked about this not being the first choice, and I don't think it was, because Coppinger reports next that talks for Jake Paul to face Anthony Joshua collapsed over network issues. Now, we had all heard the talks, and they were pretty public, from Eddie Hearn, from Jake. Nikisa Badarian, Jake's manager, was over in the UK on, I think, Sky Sports, talking about the fight and saying how it was a real...
The Tank and... Paul show there, because that's all for entertainment. What is it? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion for entertainment. Don't do this at home, kids. So fine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer for entertainment purposes only. So it's money making purposes only.
Stephen A. Smith strongly criticized the recent trend of unfair exhibition fights like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. He called them disappointing and harmful to the sport of boxing. Smith said Jake Paul should fight real, active boxers instead of older, retired legends. However, he also admitted that Paul is a great promoter who knows how to grab people's attention. Smith then defended Gervonta Davis after his controversial draw with Lamont Roach, praising Davis for staying calm and showing he's ready for a rematch. A true sign of a confident champion.
Is a professional. At some point in time, I don't give a damn if it's a light heavyweight. Better BF. Bivol. A super middleweight. Canelo, Mexican Monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation. The time has come for Jake Paul to step into the ring with a cat who actually boxes for a living and give us that fight. I appreciate the fact of him promoting. I appreciate him having the cachet as a former YouTuber turned boxer. I like Jake Paul. I respect Jake Paul. I'm just saying, because I like him and because I respect him, I want to see him in the ring. And I don't want to hear, I know his numbers are better, but then he's going to say, I don't need Canelo. Canelo needs me. Well, wait a minute. It ain't just about...
Stephen A. Smith placed Gervonta "Tank" Davis among the top 3 boxers in the world, praising his incredible power, skill, and knockout strength. He argued that fighting Jake Paul, a YouTuber with limited boxing experience, could damage Davis's reputation. Smith said the matchup is far below Tank's level and that Davis should feel embarrassed for even agreeing to it.